There was an oil and gas CEO, and they were talking about the just transition. Now, this is something you're hearing a lot more of now in Davos and in Canada, because the Canadian government has been all over the just transition, which basically means they want to transition away from oil and gas, but they don't want to do it in a just way. They want to retrain people, let all those oil workers find jobs in tech, teach them how to code and whatnot. And in Davos, there are countless panels dealing with it directly and indirectly. And one of them was taking place this evening, and it had the CEO of CEPSA, I believe it's called, which is a Spanish oil and gas company. And I thought, oh, that's great. You know, there's an oil CEO on the panel, which means there'll be at least a little bit of pushback, a little bit of recognition that the industry itself has a role to play, and maybe we shouldn't just completely crap on them. Well, this is what Mr. Oil and Gas CEO said on the transition panel.
And on that last one, I think I will combine it with your question, what would be your wish, is to get much higher carbon prices and to use that money to subsidize clean energies. It's very, very simple. But in Europe, we've seen an enormous response this year, 20% less natural gas usage. Why? It was very expensive. Right. It's very simple. It's a very capitalist intervention, but just make what you try to avoid expensive and subsidize the thing that you try to build. It's not difficult, but we're not doing it, certainly not globally.
Right. Thank you.
So that was Martin Wetsaler, and I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name, but I actually don't particularly care because I think he's just a contemptible human being for saying that. And I was a bit perplexed. I'm like, wait a minute. Why is the oil and gas CEO saying so frankly that we need a bigger global carbon tax, we need to take people's money to subsidize more green energy, and acknowledging that this is very punitive in nature? When he looks at Europe, which right now has extraordinary heating costs that are preventing people from being able to actually heat their homes, and he says, well, natural gas usage in Europe went down 20%. Why? Because it was expensive. And his answer is, let's make things more expensive deliberately so people can't afford them, and then we use that money to finance green energy. And this strikes me as very odd. So I did a little bit of digging and find out that, of course, this company has been on the forefront of developing what they call green hydrogen technology to replace oil and gas. So the company has seen the writing on the wall. And they realize that government is going to be phasing out oil and gas anyway, so they just want to cash in on those sweet, sweet, sweet subsidies. So he's saying, as an oil and gas guy, yeah, I'm going to be progressive, bring on the carbon tax, and then use it to subsidize all these other things. Oh, by the way, did you know we happen to be developing these other things here, yeah? So if people use oil and gas, he gets paid, and if people don't use oil and gas, he gets paid. What a fantastic grift.